Hello everyone, my name is Keely. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Today I'm going to talk about all the books that I want to read in the month of January. So I'm going to start out with the books that I have planned for my next episode of TBR Takedown, and for episode 3 the theme is shortest books. So the first book I have to talk about is Find Me by Anne Fraser. So this book actually follows convicted serial killer Benjamin Fisher, and he has finally agreed to lead the FBI to the graves of his victims under one condition. And his condition is that his estranged daughter, Remy Fisher, who is also an FBI profiler, has to accompany them. So this sounds dark and like this is going to be really traumatic for Remy because she's having to explore a lot of her childhood traumas if she does agree to go and find her father's victims. I'm very much looking forward to this one. I also think this cover is really cool and ominous. The next book I have for TBR Takedown is Layla and the Blue Fox by Kieran Millwood Hargrave, and I read a book by this author earlier this year and absolutely loved it, so I was very excited to pick this one up. So we follow a fox who is traveling thousands of miles through the cold Arctic tundra, but then we also follow a little girl named Layla who is on a journey to find her lost mother. So if this is anything like the other book I read by this author, it is going to be deep and heartbreaking but beautiful as well. And the next book I have for TBR Takedown is The Maze Cutter by James Dashner. This is the next book in the Maze Runner series, and this actually takes place 73 years after the events of the Death Cure. So I feel like I'm one of the only people that is still reading the Maze Runner books, but I will read them every time they come out, and so I'm very much looking forward to this one, and it's also very short. So the next book I am looking forward to reading in January is Angel Fall by Susan E. I am slowly going to work through books that I really wanted to read in high school and never got to, and this series is one of those, and all I know about it is that it is dystopian that follows angels. Now, I have read about angels in books previously, and I wasn't a huge fan of them, so I'm interested to see if I will be a fan in this like dystopian setting. I love dystopian, and so I'm eager to read more that I haven't read before. So speaking of dystopian, it is the perfect segue to talk about the next book that I want to read, which is Rebel by Marie Lu. This is book 4 in the Legend trilogy, which book 4 trilogy, it was a surprise book. I never got to it because I didn't know that it ever came out. The Legend trilogy is something that I read years and years ago, and so I recently discovered there was a 4th book that came out. So I have been rereading the trilogy so I could finally get to this 4th book, and I think it follows Day's brother Eden and also their sibling dynamic and how Eden is trying to get out of living under Day's shadow. I'm looking forward to this one. This isn't my favorite dystopian series, but it is nostalgic for me, and so I'm excited to finally finish it. The next book I would love to get to in January is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. Now this is book 1 in the spin-off series to the Caraval trilogy, and Caraval is a trilogy that I just picked up in November, so I want to pick up this next series while Caraval is still fresh in my mind. So all I know about this series is that we follow a character named Jax. Now Jax is a character that we were introduced to in the original trilogy. He's very troubled and not great. He's a trickster kind of, and so I'm interested to see his story and what becomes of him because he is a very intriguing character. And finally, the last book I want to read in January, and the reason why there's not too many books on my TBR is because this one is massive, and that is Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare. This is book 3 in the Dark Artifices trilogy, and I have been putting it off for so long. 1, because it's big, and 2, because I am not crazy about this trilogy. It's just not my favorite. Book 2 was honestly my least favorite Shadowhunter book I've ever read, and I am just not looking forward to reading this one because of how much I disliked book 2, but I'm hoping to get to it. It's a very big book, and we'll see because I have a big goal in 2023 to finally get it caught up with all these Shadowhunter books. So those are all the books that I have planned to read in the month of January. Of course, there might be some extras that are thrown in there throughout the month. Let me know what you have planned for January. I would love to know. If you've made it this far in the video, go ahead and leave the fox emoji for Layla and the Blue Fox. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, all my social media links will be down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!